it is day 12 of the 2023 ICC ODI Cricket World Cup taking place in India, and today it's all about the Proteas. They will be looking to make it 3 out of 3. They play the Netherlands from 10:30 this morning. The Dutch not having the time of their lives right now in India after 2 successful opening losses. South Africa kicking off with commanding wins over Sri Lanka and Australia. Right, let's chat about today's match. And for more on it, we're joined by former Proteas bowler Clive Eksteen. Clive, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. You're usually playing about 9 group matches before you start thinking about the semi-finals. We've played 2. We've got 7 more to go, including today's match. Do we have reason to get excited about what the Proteas is doing, considering the heavy score that we put on against Sri Lanka in the opening game and the heavy defeat that we handed to Australia in our second match? Do we have reason to start thinking that the Proteas are the team to beat?
I think it's a bit early, but we certainly can get excited. Seeing the way the team played in the first 2 games certainly puts a lot of hope for all of us back here in South Africa and the fans. So certainly very excited the way the team's playing. There's still a long way to go. You know, you're playing 9 pool matches before you get to the knockout stages. So a lot of cricket still to be played.
We have a bone to pick with the Netherlands, considering that they were the reason why we got knocked out of the T20 World Cup last year. I mean, a lot of really, objective and impartial pundits will say that South Africa were their own worst enemy, losing to the Netherlands. But still, they beat us. We got knocked out of the World Cup. We now have a score to settle in this particular competition. Do you think that last year's match will be a factor in any way? Will it be sitting anywhere in the boys' brains?
I think it's hard to put it out completely. You know, the Dutch side there's a lot of South African connection with the coach, assistant coach, some of the players, and certainly they'll be up for it and wanting to do it again. I agree with your view. I think we have ourselves to blame for losing the last game, and certainly won't take this game lightly and go into it, with everything to play for, and want to keep our momentum going.
Twofold question here, Clive. What are the boys doing right from what you've seen so far in the warm-up matches as well as in the opening 2 games of the World Cup? And what are you feeling that they need to still improve on quite quickly and quite strongly?
I think a lot has been made of our top 6. We certainly have a very good top 6 that can, if they fire, or if a couple of the guys fire, we are a very dangerous side, batting side. I think the challenge has always been around our bowling, and especially with Heinrich injured and not playing in the World Cup, it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the bowling unit. But certainly against Australia, I thought the bowlers were superb. So there wasn't much to worry about there. And really just keep putting complete performances together time and time again.
You know, in the build-up to this World Cup, Clive, I had a couple of conversations with some very high-profile figures in cricket, one of them being Russell Domingo, and I asked him, at least, how many favourites do you think there are for this World Cup? And he named about 5 teams. If you're looking at Australia picking up their first win in only their 3rd game of the World Cup, you're looking at New Zealand, who are doing fairly well. England, as the defending champions, not really the most flattering start for them. How many favourites do you think this World Cup boasts? How many teams do you think will be, or rather, which teams do you think will be sitting in that semi-final?
Yeah, I think starting, you got to look at India being the outright favourite, playing at home in front of their passionate fans. India certainly, for me, are the #1 favourite. But then you've got the rest: England, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Pakistan. Those are the others that you would say are there and thereabouts. You have to get to the knockout stages, and then it's anyone's game. Australia losing 2 on the trot, but winning now. If they keep winning, they'll get to the knockout stages. And then, if they back themselves at any stage to beat any side when it comes to knockout cricket. So certainly a tough competition, playing everyone. I think your first objective is get to the knockout stages and then take it from there.
Just before I let you go, Clive, looking at their performance in 2023, I talk of the Proteas. You look at the captain, Themba Bavuma, leading from the front with a couple of centuries this year. You look at us beating Australia just before we started our World Cup, and then we beat them again in the World Cup. Does this look like a Proteas team that can potentially win this World Cup? Does this look like a Protea team where you can actually put your money on them and say that these guys can finally break that hoodoo and bring South Africa an ODI World Cup? Or again, is it just a little too soon to tell, considering that a World Cup is a different kettle of fish compared to an ordinary ODI match?
It certainly is different, but what gives me a lot of hope is we were 2-0 down against Australia and came back and won the series. So certainly played under a lot of pressure, knockout cricket all the way, if you want to look at it like that. I think they're a very calm side, and Themba, by his nature, is a calm individual. They look confident, quietly confident, and as I said, if they can keep putting team performances together, we're not relying on one or two batters or one or two bowlers. We've got to put complete team performances together over the next couple of weeks. We certainly will be in with a shot, get to the knockout stages, and then we can beat anyone.
In the knockout stages, anything can happen. This is a World Cup, and World Cups really do present you with a different kind of atmosphere. Clive, we leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us here on eNCA on this Tuesday morning. That is former Proteas bowler and, of course, former executive at Cricket South Africa, Clive Eksteen, just talking to us about the Proteas, what we can expect from this morning's match against the Netherlands, what we've seen from the boys in their opening 2 matches, and I suppose what the tournament beholds for us going forward. Of course, we can only but hope that when we talk about the Proteas at the end of these next couple of weeks, we talk of them as the world champions.